Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. So I wanted to do this video to kind of talk about something that I experienced today and to kind of help anybody else who's going through this too. So there's a lot of people who are in like financial stuff or waiting for certain things to happen, or feeling kind of stuck, or there's just some stuff that's going on, right? So for me personally, what's been going on is my business has been slow. It's been slow for a few months. I kind of took it the first maybe 2, 3, probably up until like a few weeks ago, as like I'm healing, like I'm going through so much stuff that I don't really have the energy for people and just, focus on myself or whatever. So it's like I'm kind of grateful for the break and, like people coming in, because like when people come in, especially if they have heavy energy or I'm giving spirit messages to people, like it's exhausting. And I was going through gift upgrades. I'm still going through them, but I was going through gift upgrades and just, changes and all this shit. So it was like, okay, whatever. Well, then it's like now, fucking end of November. And I'm like, this is like my busy time. It's always been my busy time, And I'm just like, what the fuck? And so the last 2 days that school has been out or work has been out, Veterans Day, which was last Friday, I had to go in 4 hours late because my roof had a fucking leak from the hurricane. And then the few Fridays before that, when school was out, I ended up accidentally running over a fucking curb and slashing the side of my tire and got stuck doing that for 3.5 hours. So both days, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? These are both days that I'm always busier. I know people came in because they fucking told me they did. And I'm like, sorry, like, there's nothing I can do. I don't have anybody to work for me and there's nothing I can really do about it, whatever. So I'm like, of course, like the 2 fucking days, nothing happens except for the 2 days that are usually my busiest type of days. And I was just like, of course. So of course, I'm like, I'm not going to stress about this. This is out of my control. Like nothing I can do about it. So I've been just kind of feeling this energy and I'm just like, should I advertise more? Should I do this? And I'm like, I'm trying to do what's in alignment for me and not chase. So a few days ago, I'd actually talked about this in a reading and I was explaining how people keep going in chasing and stuff. And there was this person that I usually buy from on Instagram. And I still spend money. I don't give a shit, by the way. But like, because money always comes back to you. Sometimes we have to wait a little bit longer. It always comes to you, I promise. But anyway, so she was just like trying to do all these things and just that very chaser energy. And I could feel it. And every single time I'm like, I can't buy from her. I can literally feel like that energy. And I'm like that, like, and I don't mean desperation, like saying anything negative. I'm just saying like that energy. And it was just like, I literally could not do it. Like my energy was so repelled. And I was like, that's probably why people are not buying from her right now. Well, then she posts something that she's going out of business and all this stuff. And then she literally posted a thing yesterday, like, thank you so much. Like, oh my God, my whole website basically sold out. I was feeling defeated, all this shit, blah, 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 right? Then today I'm like on Facebook and a crystal person that I follow, because I buy shit from other crystal people, obviously, starts like, oh, I did this live sale and I sold like 80 something things and blah, blah, blah. And now I go, okay. So now I'm seeing everybody get stuff. I'm in my fucking store, slow as shit again. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Because I'm like, I'm doing what's in alignment. So I go, let me go into this. Like, let me see what the fuck this is teaching me. Because clearly something else is going on. So I go, what is my deal? And it's like, I'm like, I'm not going to do like a post for a pity party or any of that shit to try to get people, because I don't want those type of people in my business. And I also am just not that type of person. And I was like, and I was like, well, maybe I'll go do a live or something like that. I know I'll make money. And I was like, I don't really feel like doing one though. And I was like, all right, what is this shit right now? And it's like that whole chasing money. But then I'm like, all right, let me go a little bit deeper and see what really is going on. And so I realized it's like this fear, this feeling like I have to, if I don't see results of stuff, right? Especially being patient for like 4 months. If I'm not seeing results of stuff and I'm surrendering to the process, the longer it's taking, the less, patient I am, obviously. And I'm like, it's making me feel like I'm not doing enough. It's making me feel like I should be working more, working harder, or doing things and taking control. And really what the lesson is actually doing what's in alignment for you and surrendering and not doing that. And I go, okay, so I'm looking at the other 2 people and I go, okay, so, and this is non-judgmental, I'm just explaining from my perspective, is one person's kind of doing this, well, since I'm not making money, I'm going to go to business. And so now basically all these people just bought stuff and that's very temporary. The other person that's they always do live. So, I think for them, maybe just stuff's opening up, or maybe they need the money, whatever it is for them, right? And I was like, first off, is certain things aren't going to be sustainable, obviously, and like long term. I'm building that inner stability within myself to know that everything's going to be fine and everything's going to be safe. But part of it really is like, even when you're at the hardest time, even when you're at, quote unquote, rock bottom, is not going and doing shit just to go chase it or try to. It's kind of surrendering and letting spirit really take the wheel and trust. Now, if I felt like I needed to advertise, or I felt like there were things I needed to do, I'd be doing them. For the first few months, I was kind of focusing on kind of my energy and my own like mental health and just taking care of myself. I'd been getting like gift upgrades, and it was just really a lot. I was so exhausted all the time. So I was kind of like appreciating the break, because, when people come to the store, they have like heavy energy. I'm giving people spiritual messages. It's very draining for me, and it's just fucking exhausting. So I was kind of appreciating those breaks. But then after a period of time, I'm like, all right, what the hell? This is like busy time, and I'm like slow as fuck during busy time, because my mindset is like, no shit, it's going to open up. Like, you'll be fine. The holiday season's coming, girl. Like, you'll be fine, whatever. So I've just been, like I said, trying to do what's in alignment for me. What is it that I energetically feel pulled toward and want to do? And, I started making jewelry, a few weeks ago. I've been making jewelry. I've been on like a huge ass, like, kick. Like, this is like one of the necklaces I made. Obviously I keep shit for myself too, but that's a moon. Well, you can't really see it like that, but that's a moonstone necklace. But yeah, I've been making a lot of jewelry. And then last week I got into this kick to like organize stuff, buy some different things to like organize the shop. And then I've been buying stuff to make earrings with, because I really want to start making earrings again. And then I also this week, actually was making crystal bags yesterday with the grape agates and stuff, the chip bags. And then like this week, I also went and bought a bunch of gift boxes to make these like gift sets that I'm going to do for the holiday season and stuff. So I've been really kind of just doing what's in alignment for me. I just ordered more bottles, which came in today, to redo my spray, like to make more sprays, because I've been out of like some of the sprays for like fucking months, because I have a whole process, and it takes me time to do it. So not only does it take me time to do it, I infuse them with energy and intentions and shit like that. So like, I will only make them when I'm in really, good energy. And so I've been like focusing on that type of stuff, and that's what's in alignment for me. So whenever, this lesson or these things are done, it's going to take right back off. But one of the other fears for that is I've been wanting a bigger store. Obviously it's going to be more expenses. I'm going to have to hire people, shit like that. And I'm like, well, if I'm not making money now, how am I going to make money in the future? And this is the thing. We don't realize things can change literally in a second, with like literally a snap. So some of us are in this really deep trust and surrender, not chase. And it's not easy when, it's easier when you're only going through it for a month or two, right? When you're going through it for 4 months, it's not that fucking easy. So it's like, no, we're going to continue to stand in our power, and we're going to deeply surrender and trust, which is really where I'm at. And I'm okay. I actually feel perfectly fine. But then it's, the fear of like, how is something going to happen that I had a vision of in the future? It's going to happen, out of my control. Nothing I can really do about it. And it seems almost like, you're doing the opposite, but you're really not, if you're doing like what's in alignment and you're empowering yourself and you're not chasing and you're becoming a magnet. But I also realized that I've had a lot of people who've come in lately for the last few weeks, and they've just like had like attitudes, or just been like, just rude, just like whatever. And I realized this the other day is I'm so much more empowered, and I shine my light so fucking bright that like, I'm realizing how much I'm triggering the fuck out of people. But then that made me start feeling like maybe I'm pissing people off. Maybe, I'm upsetting people. Maybe I have an attitude. Maybe. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, I'm not doing any of those fucking things. I'm like, I'm being me and authentically me. And I'm also not going to change and lower and dim my fucking light, so you're not triggered by it. Like, if you're triggered by it, enjoy the fucking trigger, and I hope it helps you heal. So I realized like there's a lot of those type of situations coming up, and really like testing us, and not testing, like the pass or fail. I always tell people it's not like that. It's like really testing us and showing us like deeper things, but it's also like really helping us truly stand in our power, and it's helping other people. And I will say this, and this is why I think it's funny, is last week the roofing guy came to my house. He ended up fixing it yesterday, but he came to my house and it's his own business too. And we're having this conversation and we're just talking about people because I was telling him about this situation, how like people literally come in and they just think you're like hard up for money or like you're a fucking flea market, you know, or you're like a fucking garage sale, and they think it's okay to try to negotiate prices. First off is if you're buying a lot of stuff or something, I'll probably give you a discount. Somebody came in my shop the other day for a giant fucking crystal that I already had marked down, and like she actually has come in quite a few times, and it was like $88, and she'd already put it on my desk to buy, and I was like, I'll give it to you for $55 because it's been sitting here for a while, you know, like, and she was already buying like $100 and something worth of stuff. So like for me, like if you come in regularly, or, you know, I set up a rewards program for regulars anyway, but like if you come in and stuff, like, and it's something that I can give you a little bit of a deal on, I will give you a little bit of a deal on it. Or if it's been sitting there for a while and I'm going to clearance it, and I was actually planning on clearancing those anyway, like I'll give you a deal. But if you're coming into my fucking business and you're asking and you're trying to negotiate with me, it's 100% a no. And she literally did not spend any money, was trying to buy a $5 crystal and asked me to negotiate for $3. That's it. Didn't buy anything else. This other lady, and I was just like, no. So me and the roofer are talking about how like in business, how we have to deal with these specific situations, and he was telling me how he deals with them and like he negotiates prices with people or shit like that. I go, why? Like, why are you doing that? If you value yourself and you value your time, when you're doing that, like you're going to keep attracting those type of people. When you stand in your power and you stand in your boundaries and you appreciate and value what you have in your service and your business and shit like that, you're not going to have to deal with those type of people. You might, but you're not going to be affected by them, and they're not going to keep coming back to your business. Sometimes, I know for me, sometimes if it's not something that triggers me, it's either showing me something that I've already grown through and learned, or it's me teaching somebody else a boundary. So, you know, when I was talking to him, I realized that like part of the reason why I actually probably picked him to come to the house was that. And he's like, hey, it's going to be $250 for, you know, the roof. He's going to renail. And I was like, that's fine. Like, don't worry about it. Like, whatever. Like, I'll give you the money. Like, I'm not, if that's your price and you're being fucking fair with me, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to negotiate. And I think it made him realize there are tons of people like me. So I know a lot of other people go through this, and I meet so many people, like artists especially, that will come in my store and they'll, you know, make stuff or they'll sell stuff. And I'm like, ooh, let me see it. Cause I love creativity. I love anybody who designs or creates anything. Not following ones, not being an asshole, but not ones that everybody does the same shit and follow shit. I mean, like authentic, real shit, right? And so I'm like, ooh, let me see. And I'm like, how much are you selling that for? And they'll tell me. And it's always low as fuck. And I'm like, how much did it cost you for supplies? And sometimes they know, sometimes they don't. And I'm like, how many hours did that? Because, you know, you can usually tell it took hours. How many hours did that take? Like 4 or 5 hours. You're selling that for like $30. You're selling that for $40. So I'm like, you're going to make like $5, $6, $8 an hour. Are you kidding me? They're like, well, people won't pay more for that. I go, I'd pay at least $150 for that, at least. You know, I'm like, I'd pay $200 for that. I was like, you should definitely, they're like, yeah, but other people won't. Or people are like, even the $50 is high. I go, that's for people who don't understand stuff. That's for people who don't value the fucking time it takes. You, when you stand in your value, people will energetically feel that. You will find tons of people like me who understand and appreciate that. There are so many of us who are small business owners who also understand. There are so many artists who understand the amount of time it takes to make stuff. Like I make jewelry, I make sprays, I make other stuff. Like we understand, we appreciate those things. Like you would not believe how much stuff that I buy from people, and people are like, that's expensive. I go, is it though? Like, is it really that expensive? Like you're getting something you can't get anywhere else. So first off, that adds value. That's a person's business. There's time, you know, there's this, that, and the other thing. And like a lot of us business owners can see that, but not everybody can. So it's like, we should never undervalue ourselves for other people. We should not go chase anything. This is not just for money. This is for anything. We should not chase anything. See what you actually want to do. See what actually feels in alignment for you, and then follow that. And I know for me, like I know kind of the way spirit works with stuff, the fact that I'm so excited to be making like gift box and making jewelry and stuff like that means that type of stuff is going to sell and take off and probably be good for gifts. And that's why, you know, I'm in the energy to do those things. And like I'm making some of the earrings are for me, obviously. I'm making the earrings. I really should be like, oh my God, because people are always like, oh, I like this jewelry and this. I should be like, yeah, here's my card. Except I don't do it because I don't fucking even try to sell my shit because I don't need to. Like, The right people will always come in. And you know how many times I'm like, oh, people are like, I didn't even know you were here. I'm like, you find me when you need to, always. It's always that way because we don't have to fucking chase anything. But a lot of us are being really tested on that. And like, as we're being tested and like really pushed, you know, to our fucking brink with stuff, we're also seeing how we're good. We're also seeing how, like, for me, like normally I'd freak the fuck out with certain things. I'm seeing how I can remain calm. I go, okay, these are my emotions. I'm going to honor them. I'm going to talk about something else too. I'm going to honor them. I'm going to feel them, all this stuff. And I'm going to let them be what they are. And I'm going to see what can I logically do. I'm going to try to keep myself as calm as possible. Try to surrender. I even, with the roofing, said to Spirit, I'm like, hey guys, you told me to fucking wait. And now my whole fucking kitchen's flooded. So listen to you, surrendered, waited. Can you help me find somebody now? Since I'm not supposed to go fucking chase. I submit my thing to a website and then boom, 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 boom. All these phone calls come through. And then I was just like, okay, I do not want to deal with this. Why are you guys like doing this to me? And then I go, can you just help me find somebody? Seriously? Right then is the guy I ended up going with, like immediately, right, literally 2 seconds after that phone call. The other thing I want to talk about too is, oh my God, the spiritual community drives me nuts. I swear to God, it's like a fucking cult now. It's so annoying. Like, honestly, it's so annoying. I don't even want to say I'm spiritual because I'm so fucking done with this community and the bullshit and the fucking toxicity and the fucking, okay, this is what I want to talk about. I saw this fucking post yesterday and this person was talking about, and they don't have bad intentions, so it wasn't anything like that, but I'm talking about it for a reason. She was talking about people might be going through anger and this and this and this, you know, which is true. We are. A lot of us are releasing repressed emotions and feelings. So a lot of anger, a lot of resentment, a lot of frustration, a lot of our own reflection on choices that we made where we're looking at why the fuck did I deal with that person, that situation, why, you know, we're looking at things through the person we are now and how we responded and received and did things in the past for us to be like, one, I'm different, and two, holy shit, I can't believe I actually dealt with that. Now that I'm in my power, I realize my worth and what I deserve, okay? I forgot why I just started saying that, but whatever. Oh, about the anger and repressed, whatever. So anyway, she's sitting there and talking about if you're feeling angry and all this shit, you should be raising your vibration. You can do yoga and eat healthy food and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, that irritated the fuck out of me. First off is, why the fuck does the spiritual community constantly push raising your vibration or being falsely positive? It's fucking stupid as fuck. We should honor all of our emotions. Our emotions teach us what is going on with our body, our mind, if there's things that are problematic, if there are things we need to fix, if we have needs, etc. Just like when your stomach starts gurgling and is hungry, we don't be like, oh, we don't want our body to make noises, so we're going to do this to prevent that. We go, okay, it's an indicator for me to eat. That's what your emotions are, right? Like, hello. So it's like doing something like yoga when you're feeling angry does not actually help unless you use it to calm down and you actually process your feelings. But it should not be used in placement, which is the way that this was worded. Here's the reason why. If you're feeling angry, you need to process it. You need to understand why you're feeling angry and you need to work through it, release it, and then see if there's changes you need to make. Or sometimes you just need to release it. If you're going to do yoga instead, where's the processing? Where's the releasing? Where's the understanding? That's not raising your vibration. That's a fucking Band-Aid so you feel better temporarily. Now all that anger and shit's getting stuffed back in, and that's where people explode with their emotions. They become emotionally reactive because they've been holding shit in for so fucking long. So what we should be doing if we're really trying to raise our vibrations is letting go of anger. Guess what? Anger is heavy as fuck. You ever walk in a room where people are angry and you just go, what the fuck? Why is it so heavy and uncomfortable in here? That's anger. You go and you release the anger, and guess what? Oh shit, your vibration raises because the anger is not weighing you down. Like, I don't understand why we're taught that we should always be fucking positive. We should always be happy. We should go do shit. That is literally ignoring what you actually need to be dealing with. Like, we should be dealing with our shit and helping us. If you're continually going through shit, yeah, take a fucking break and go do something fun. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like, the whole perspective of if you're angry, you should go do yoga and do certain fucking habits and certain things like that have nothing to do with it at all is like crazy as fuck to me. Or that we should be positive and we should think positive about our situations. Why? Because we can be disappointed, frustrated, angry, and that's all of normal fucking emotions and feelings. We could be jealous, we could be anything, and that's all normal. And we need to normalize that all emotions are actually good for us. All emotions have a purpose. All emotions are fine. And we should stop chasing positivity. I talk about this all the time, but I'm going to say it again because I like saying it. We should never be chasing positivity or happiness. We're not always going to be positive. It's unrealistic, and we are never going to be happy all the time. Happiness is an emotion. Like anger, like sadness, they all flow. They all fucking go, come and go, come and go, come and go. All. What we should be working toward is inner peace and calmness. Every single person is always going to have to deal with ups and downs. We're always going to have to deal with unexpected things. We're always going to have to deal with stress, situations that stress us out. But when we can find inner peace and calmness, we can learn how to calm any storm that comes in. We can learn how to not get so stressed out. We can learn how to not be reactive. We can learn how to not be so angry or to not take things personal. And we can learn to look at things without all the trauma once we heal a lot of it. And we can learn how to calm ourselves. And it's the same thing with like my roof thing. I will be blunt as fuck. I woke up when the hurricane it was last Thursday. So literally a week ago tomorrow. I woke up and I step in the fucking water and I was just like, what the fuck? And I go, I have a fucking leak in my roof. Mind you, the spot has been there for a few months. And every time I went to call, Spirit was like, nope, don't call, don't call, don't call. And I was like, I'm listening to you guys, but I see it's getting worse. So my logical mind is like, what the fuck? And so when it happened, I was like, what the fuck? And it pissed me off at first because I was just like, you guys told me to wait. Why the hell would you tell me to wait on something that you knew was going to happen? I do realize after the conversation with that guy, I think one, he needed help with stuff and he needed the money for the business. But also because of that situation, right after I got angry and I was just like, okay, I know I'm angry as fuck. I'm going to process why I'm so angry right now. And part of that was I felt like maybe I shouldn't have listened to them. Maybe I should have done it. And I'm like, nope, I shouldn't have. They made the right fucking choice. I think part of it was too that had I gotten that done sooner and fixed what needed to be fixed, it could have got fucked up in the hurricane. So this prevented, me from having to call somebody out a second time. But also I realized that I'm fine. It didn't keep leaking. It was actually perfectly fucking fine. The rest of it, I could hear like a drip and then it like completely went away because the wind shifted a different direction. So it didn't even blow any more water. So I was like, okay, I'm good. Like the roof isn't gonna, because of course, the mind starts spiraling and freaking out. I'm like, the roof isn't gonna leak. Like, it's not going to get worse. Like, my whole ceiling's not going to fall. I was like, I'll handle this. But I was like, I'm going to also process my feelings with this. And I probably realized about 6 different things from that situation happening. And like, everything still worked out perfectly fine. So like, even when we don't understand why we're doing things that seem very illogical to us in the moment, they always have a purpose. But we're always growing and healing. And like, the way I would have handled that probably a year or 2 ago, I'd probably be panicking, anxious as fuck, freaking out like, oh my God, what should I do? Oh my God, like this. And I was like, I'm angry. I'm going to go process my feelings on my way to fucking Dunkin' to go get a fucking coffee because I'm tired of shit and I'm hungry. And then I'm like, I'm not going to rush when I get home because what the hell is the point of fucking rushing? It's a hurricane, so I doubt anybody's working anyway. And I was like, I'm going to drink my fucking coffee, eat my food, calm my ass down, process my fucking feelings, and then I'm going to handle it. And that's exactly what I did. And it worked out perfectly fucking fine. And that's my point is like, it always works out fine. But like back in the day, I would not have handled that. I literally would have lost my shit or I would have called somebody else and be like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. This happened. And then I'd probably go to victim mode. Can you believe this shit always happens to me? Blah, 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 blah. And whatever else I used to do. So like, we're also seeing in these situations too, like we're always taking care of everything's, perfectly fine. So anyway, I hope that this message helps for you, no matter what it is that is going on that you're being patient with, or you're accepting, or you're trusting the process, or you're not chasing shit like that. Remember that whenever something comes to your mind, whether it's a vision or intuition or something you want, whenever it starts coming to your mind and it's very strong and you can feel it in your soul, that's the beginning of your journey. So you had that vision, you had that thought, you had that experience, whatever it was, because they're letting you know this is the start of the journey. Now, every little thing you have along the way is teaching you something. until the end of whenever you receive it, where that sub-cycle is helping you heal any blockages, perceptions, traumas, conditioning that is standing in the way from that end result being super solid, super stable. It's giving you all the tools you're going to need for the future, for that next endeavor. It's teaching you what you need to learn, helping you release anything repressed, helping you anything that's hidden below the surface, anything that needs to change, anything that needs to release, and anything that needs to heal. So when you're shown something, yeah, it might take a long ass time because you might have a lot of stuff to deal with in that meantime, but it will always come for you. It's never not going to come. If spirit showed you some shit and they promised you some shit, it's never going to leave. It's always going to come. But you have to get to the place to be in that. You have to get to the place to receive it. And I'll finish with this because I say this and I don't think people understand it. Even if you got your desired thing when you saw it and you say you want it, would you actually receive it? Because if you go into trauma mode, you go into conditioning, you go into these fears, you go into these things that you've been healing and learning that you're probably seeing now how you acted. Like I was saying earlier, how I acted a year ago, holy fuck. But that's exactly it. Run away from problems, sabotage things, like be critical, not standing in my power. I didn't even know what the fuck my needs were a year ago. Didn't know how to communicate my needs a year ago because I didn't know what they were. Didn't know, like, worried about other people's feelings and needs more than my own, all kinds of shit. So it wouldn't be healthy. It wouldn't be stable. It wouldn't be solid. All of these experiences until that final result come in are helping you to have the stability so this thing lasts, so it works out, so you can actually enjoy it and appreciate it. So when you're shown something in the beginning, that's why. What most people don't realize is love is the perfect example of this. You could find your fucking soulmate. Your soulmate literally could be right in front of your fucking face, literally. And you would push them away. You'd run away. You'd sabotage it. You would find problems. You would, be codependency, all this bullshit, right? Because you don't think you're worthy. You don't think you're good enough. You think you have to chase and all this shit. You think you have to fix whatever it is for you. Might be a lot of those things because for most of us, it's a lot of those things. And you would sabotage it in some way. And you would not have a healthy relationship with that person. It would not be stable and solid. So that's why you have to go through those situations. And I do want to talk about one other thing. So I just have to talk about this. Don't judge me. Well, if you judge me, go fuck yourself. You can judge yourself. So I watched Bachelor in Paradise. I watched Bachelorette, whatever. Okay. This season, I'm not going to watch The Bachelor because I literally can't stand the guy so much that if I hear his voice, he's just so fake. And like, it's so obviously fake that every time I hear his voice, I literally cringe and I had to mute it and watch it on closed caption. That bad. So like, they fucking suck because they took me and my friend's fucking Monday from us, right? But anyway, I'm watching Bachelor in Paradise. There's a couple in there that always fucking fight. And I go on Instagram and I always see people be like, they're so toxic, they're so this, they're so this. Every time they fight, I see an old version of myself in them. And I don't think they're toxic. What I actually think people don't realize is they have trauma. And you can very, very clearly see the trauma. And what people don't realize is when you grow up in unhealthy ass relationships and with unhealthy fucking parents, relationships are really difficult for us. We don't know the difference between our needs and yours. Should we be paying attention to yours? Is this our trauma or is this our need? There's so much shit that goes on. When you say things to us, we hear them in a different way than it's said, and we go into instant inner child mode where we fight, fright, flight, freeze, fawn, right? Like whatever we are conditioned to do. We go into those modes and our logical mind is no longer there. We're in that inner child emotional energy. So what people don't realize is oftentimes when you have relationships like that, you might argue more than other people. There might be things that go on where you see other people who grew up with healthy relationships with parents, who grew up with healthy dynamics, who learn how to communicate. Not everybody grew up like that. That doesn't make it toxic though, guys. Like that doesn't make it, if somebody's not calling people names, they're not being abusive, they're, communicating their needs and shit like that, just because they're arguing about little shit. But if you're able to repair, sometimes those arguments are needed. And a lot of those tough times are needed for you to learn how to repair, so you can learn how to communicate better, so you can learn what's actually, healthy, so you can see what's not working, so you can see what's working and you can fix it as a team and communicate and work together. But sometimes you need those situations to happen for you to be able to grow. The thing is with healthy relationships is both people can take accountability and grow and see where they're making choices that aren't beneficial for them or the relationship, and they can communicate it and they can talk about it and they can heal. So I just want to put that out there because I feel like there's such a stigma around that type of shit too, that's just not accurate and it's not really fair. And our people who have trauma, it is oftentimes comes out in our relationships. And it has to, because that's where we struggle the most with connecting to people in a healthy way, because we just didn't know how to do it. And I will tell you, as a person, I have struggled with this for a long ass time. And only in the last 2 years have I been really understanding it. And only in the last few months have I really learned how to handle things a lot better. So I just want to explain that for anybody else who needs that. But I do hope that this message helps you guys. I hope you guys all have a good night.